Hi, everybody. Welcome to another Spark Change. This is Maria Davis at Spark Change. We hope to connect, inform, and inspire you to create positive change in your life and in your community. If you are watching this during the live stream, please say hello in the chat. And if you have any questions, you can write those questions right in the chat and we can answer those after the presentation. So I appreciate you all are here. Look at the beautiful day that we have here in downtown Angola from that live stream. So I am going to introduce you to Darlene Vassil. Darlene is from Decatur. She is a board member of the Decatur Sculpture Tour, Decatur Arts Commission, and the North Adams Arts Council. And she also has an art studio. She's doing a lot of things, and the Decatur Sculpture Tour has made an incredible impact on the city of Decatur. So I would like to welcome Darlene here. Let me take this Angola picture down. And hi, Darlene. How are you?
I am great, and I'm really happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Yes, I am. I am so grateful for you to be here. I first looked at the Decatur Sculpture Tour back in 2017 with Greg Mendez, and we decided to try to do something similar up here in Angola. And so far, it's working. I hope it continues on. I know it can be difficult to take on such an endeavor. You have like over 20 sculptures, correct? Is
Yes,
that
we
right?
do. Yes, we do.
Yeah, that's a lot of logistics. So the fact that you can do that, that's incredible. So, is there
I have a wonderful
anything?
team that helps me. I can't take credit for it. I'm actually one of the newbies that came in
Oh, okay.
after the tour has been going for years and years already. New blood.
Yeah. I think I heard about it back in 2012. So it's been a long
2011 is when
time.
we started. Yep.
Yeah, and
Good.
I was waiting actually for the opportunity to come around where we could possibly do that because that's something that I always thought would be cool if we had that. So it took until 2019, but hey, it happened. So uh, I am grateful for that. So, is there anything that you would like to add before we start your presentation?
No, I'm like I said, I'm very happy to be here, and I've been a part of the sculpture tour for 6 years now. I've known about it since its inception because I know people that are involved with it, and I'm just happy to be retired and a part of the dirty work.
Alrighty. Yeah, that's a lot of logistics. Okay, well, I will turn on your presentation here. And there you go. And I'll disappear while you do that.
All right, thank you. My name is Darlene Vassil, and I'm from the Decatur Sculpture Tour. And I love the Sculpture Tour because it brings serendipity to our town. Oops, I lost the picture. I lost my PowerPoint. Oops. There we go. All right. Serendipity is the effect by which one accidentally stumbles upon something truly wonderful. When visitors come to our town, they accidentally and on purpose find the sculpture tour, and it is something wonderful. A little bit about me. I have a master's degree in art education. I worked 40 years as an elementary art teacher. I freelanced wall murals during my teaching time. And since then, I have retired and moved here to Decatur. Today, I promote the arts community and I am a practicing artist. This is the gallery I belong to, and that is my studio. I spend about 20 hours a week there, and the rest of the time I babysit. I have a wonderful grandson. We have a small town that likes to do big city things. Tomorrow you'll be hearing from Dan Ross from the Fort Wayne um, Arts United, and he will be talking about art coming to the community in a big way, but we have a little way. This is our ice cream shop, the 27, and this is the reason why I moved to Decatur. If you count all the little buggies and the little grandmas in there, that's what I wanted for the rest of my life. This sculpture of the horse is pictured bigger to the right there. It is called One for the Flinching by Greg Mendez. One of the reasons why the sculpture tour is good for Decatur is because it connects to our history. It builds on the historical connection. The Peace Monument was one of the first monuments in the United States that was specifically devoted to peace. It was created by Charles Mulligan in 1913, and it sits in the town square. Another artist that came from Decatur is Dave Smith. He was a pioneer of modern sculpture. He was born in Decatur. He is credited with being one of the first artists to use welding as a media and technique. Ralph Hurst is another artist that came from Decatur. He eventually moved to Florida, where he taught at the university. So Decatur has a nice connection to history of art. We have our own artist today, Greg Mendez, who is continuing the culture of art in Decatur. This is his sculpture that is at our Riverside Park. It's an interesting sculpture. It looks like a Pegasus when you first see it, but it is actually two different hawks fighting for a seat on the same horse. It's called The Seats Taken. Some more of Greg Mendez's work. The thing about public art is it's intended to be accessible to everyone and not to be exclusive. I think a lot of people feel intimidated to go to museums or galleries. That was a quote by Greg Mendez, and I perfectly agree with him. When you're walking down the street at your own leisure, looking at as many as you have time for, as many as you want to, you don't have to worry about anyone the intimidations that might come from an art gallery. You don't have to feel like you have to be an artist to look at it. The display of public art is wonderful. I'm looking at some of these messages. Another artist building on the history indicator is Alex Mendez. He is Greg's brother. He started off studying music in college, and then as he helped Greg work on his sculptures, he became very interested in art and now has a tour route of his own. Some more of Alex's works. You can see the musical background in them. The effects on Decatur is that it helps art to grow. We have permanent sculptures. The cat is by Greg Summers. He's an artist that has come to us for repeated years. Adams Memorial Hospital has several murals inside. They display artworks for sale. And in their memory unit, the doors are all painted with small murals, each door with a different mural so that the residents can easily find their own homes, their own rooms. Our art has spread to different areas. Shelby Nauer painted a crosswalk mural. This is great for the city because this is a main pedestrian area, and murals on the ground like that help to slow traffic. So it's a nice safety feature. We have public art, private art. We have more and more paintings instead of other types of decoration going into buildings, murals on walls. Art is coming alive and well in Decatur. Decatur Sculpture Tour began in 2011 with a dozen outdoor sculptures. The event was a vision of creativity and community sparked by a desire to enhance the town's vibrancy. These are some of our artists out there, and it was a beautiful day. This year, 2004, we'll have 36. I have to correct that because we have 30 this year. And we have permanent sculptures that are already here and will stay here. And together they total 68. Some of these are permanents. In fact, all of these are permanent sculptures. We have claim to international artwork. We have Nirer Gupta from New Delhi, India, has participated in our show with this marble piece, and Neil Whiffle, he came from England about 15 years ago to help restore the marble work in the Allen County Courthouse in Fort Wayne, and he stayed in America, and now he's one of our returning artists every year. Our artists come from all over the world. This piece, the third piece, is by Dale Compton. He's our artist traveling the furthest this year. He's coming from Washington State. So the popularity of our show is rising. One of the features that cities look for now is a place-making event, a situation where the people of the town could gather together as a group, as a community. This is a great community builder for us. You could see in the right picture that we have a nice crowd. This is on the tour itself, where we go from paint sculpture to sculpture and introduce the artists, and this whole crowd follows us to all the different sculptures that line our streets. Once imagined, the Decatur Sculpture Tour has a record of sustainable art. We are in our 14th year. The way we run our program is on day one, actually in May, the artists start taking down their sculptures. They take them to different locations. They travel to different cities. Our sculptures come down in May, and then in early June, we have the artists come back with their new sculptures, and we have a reception for them and for our sponsors. So day one is a placemaking event, a formal one, for the sponsors of our shows and the artist. This year, we're doing something different. Hoosier Pattern, which is a business here in Decatur, is also having a iron pour on our date. I'll talk about that a little further on. On the second day of our programming, the artists get up early in the morning and they start the installations of their art pieces. The public is invited to come down and watch the pieces being put into place. We have a plein air painting. We have performances by groups. So we make it a big affair. We really do a nice show that people could come in from the community and spend the whole day doing. Here's some installation shots. We have a really nice group of artists that bring their pieces. They help each other unload. They help each other weld their pieces together onto these stands. Some shots of our performances. We have activities going on at the library for children. We have a chalking on the sidewalks for children. We have our plein air painters. We have food trucks, and we have performing groups. Our show is unique from other cities because we have our artists at their sculptures the evening of the unveiling. This man in the blue shirt is Curtis Rose. He's explaining to the people about his artwork, which is behind him. You can't see it at this point. Street galleries are like boxes of chocolate. You never know what you're going to get. This fish is by Greg Summers. It was last year's. Serendipity is a delightful feeling, and our sculptures bring delight. The tour brings delight. There's no one at the corner of our courthouse taking account on how many people come to visit our cities. We do have an attraction for visitors to come see our works, and sometimes it's a surprise. One day I was in my studio and two ladies came in. They said that one of them came from Fort Wayne and the other one came from southern Indiana, and Decatur just so happened to be in the middle of their drive. They didn't know the sculptors were here. They were totally delighted to have all the entertainment of the sculptures. They met together once a year, and they swore they would come back and make this their regular meeting place. We have concerts on Thursday night, and two people saw the sculptures on the street. They pulled over, they joined us at our concert, and I was lucky enough to sit by them, and they were talking about how delightful it was that a small town like this would have an opportunity to have the beautiful sculptures that we have. Painting a mural on the side of the building, I had some people stop and talk to me and tell me that they can't believe all this art is in beautiful little Decatur. The artists claim that they get honked at a lot. Driving around the city, it's delightful to see all these sculptures coming down Main Street. The visitors at the hotel say it looks like a carnival in the parking lot. The Decatur Sculpture Tour adds to the quality of life. We ask people to come and do the judging for the People's Choice Award. It can't help but have a wonderful experience coming down our main streets and finding baby goats and baby birds and foxes and all kinds of gorgeous sculptures. We have murals. We show city pride. The city's appearance has improved over the years. It gives people a feeling of the importance to their space. It creates jobs. This is the first year that Decatur is advertising for someone to head tourism in our city. It attracts creatives. We have more and more people like myself who I lived on the other side of the street, and I came to Decatur to be a part of the art community. And I've already mentioned that the tourism, the Yes and the Welder are magazines. We find ourselves being approached by more and more magazines and different medias to tell about our story. Studies show that investments in public art can improve street safety, provide tourism and new jobs, and combat social isolation and anxiety. Community involvement not only involves seeing the sculptures, walking around the town and viewing the sculptures. We have gotten a pat of approval from our townspeople and from our city officials because so many private sculptures have been purchased and have been ordered. Our sponsors have continued to support us after 14 years. The city has embraced the artistic logo or brand for Decatur, saying that we are artistically inspired and innovative. More effects on Decatur. The city master plan includes many, many shots of our sculpture tour. It shows how it's helped grow the tourism. We've had a beautification program for our storefronts. We have a quality of life here because of our sculptures that is new and exciting. Having the support of the city officials is incredibly important. Having the support of our sponsors is incredibly important. The Decatur Sculpture Tour has turned into a resource for helping to write grants. Other artists have come to join us in Decatur. This is the Laughing Cat Studio. That is a new art studio here in Decatur. I mentioned the Hoosier Iron Pour. They're having it the night of our reception. Artists can come to their presentation. People from the community can come to their presentation at Hoosier Patterns to show how to carve into these sand blocks. And then in the evening, they're going to fill the sand blocks that have been carved into with iron. And then the next morning, you could retrieve your artwork. We also have the Wildflowers concert the evening of the Saturday the tour. So we have two different entities joining in with us this year that have not been a part of our show before. The effects of the tour on Decatur, it shows our cultural heritage, our cultural growth. It provides us placemaking events, brings tourism to our city, adds to the quality of life, is a part of the master plan of the city, and it broadens areas of growth in the arts, in individuals. I was also asked to talk about the bad that happens. We have two instances where the alligator, you could see the policeman around it, he had gotten stolen. And then the Pegasus, this is a Pegasus, was tied to a car and dragged through the streets. So some bad things do happen. The artists repaired the projects for us, and they are back in their spots. Maintenance of the artwork is a cost that we had not anticipated. We have procured an artist to regularly take care of them, maintain them, keep them safe. And retiring committee members is another area where we have to keep inviting people in to help join us and help make this go another 14 years. Maria, you could take that. Oh, here's our list of our sponsors. And I want to thank you for my nervous presentation.
You did.
All right, Maria, you can take that down.
Okay, you did wonderfully.
Oh, very nervous. Sorry.
No, you were fine. I had I understood that before the sculpture tour, uh, you or Decatur did not have a historic preservation district. I understand. Do you have that now? Is that the case, or was
We
did you
have a
always have?
historical society, and I believe it was. I've only been here for 6 years, but I believe that it was present before the sculpture tour. I don't really know the facts about that, so I can't go on
Okay.
any further.
I was just wondering if you had a designated district at this point in time now. I did, and now you have second floor housing as well.
Oh, the Hive.
Yeah,
Yes, we have. I didn't mention the Hive. I apologize for that. The Hive is another art gallery here in Decatur. It has housing above it for practicing artists who show their works at the Hive. They are involved with the community. They put on classes and programs, and the new art director there is very talented. She comes up with all kinds of really great ideas of things she could do. She just hosted a children's art where they would display their art, and she has a craft day where they can make projects. She's going to have a summer workshop for the kids, summer program, camp program.
great. So has the sculpture tour, I have heard from people in Decatur after we instituted the city of Angola instituted, I should say, the sculptures here, that it has really changed the face of Decatur. I remember when I first visited, I think it was 2017, there were still some shops that didn't have anyone in them. And then it was like 2 years later, or 2 3 years later, and it was amazing. It was full. The street was full, and there was the you had bollards in front of the alleys, and there was alley art, and all these different things happened in an incredibly short time. And also the apartments and the hive, all that was new too. So
The city
yeah,
has
and
done a wonderful job supporting the sculpture tour, improving the city. Um, they all blended together. I don't believe one was the cause of the other. I believe it just so happened that they collided on the same day. Uh, the city wants improvements. All cities want improvements to their old buildings, and it just so happened that we have the sculpture tour going on, and the committees overlapped, and they when they redesigned the sidewalks, they made the little bumpers. Um, so that they enhanced the artwork. They made a place for it with the artwork. When, I showed you Shelby's crosswalk, where it creates more safety within the city street. The city did a great job in doing matching grants for the storefronts. All our storefronts are absolutely beautiful now. And yes, from when I first started visiting Decatur to now, the main streets have grown beautifully, upgraded. It's a nice place to come.
I actually, when I visited the second time, after we instituted here the sculptures here, I actually heard an official say, "Art changed our community." That's a quote. So I won't say who it is, but that was said. So I think the impact of the artists and how they've all rallied together, and the community rallied around all of you, that's pretty amazing. So with that, how did it grow, the number of artists within Decatur? You had mentioned a couple, but has it been attracting people who want to live there and be a part of the artistic community?
I think just the distance that some of our artists come from shows how that we've reached out. It brings tourism. I came here because of the art community. I was a elementary art teacher, and I wanted to be an artist when I grew up, and so I came here to Decatur. And I love the small town atmosphere and the small town doing big city things, bringing the sculpture tour and these great, beautiful artworks, really beautiful artworks.
Yeah. And the general population, how do they feel about art, particularly when you're in a fairly industrial city? At least that's it. When you go down there, you see the industry right near the downtown. How is that pragmatism in the community? How have they accepted a lot of this abstract art, and how do they react to that when you first started, when you came into the scene for the sculpture tour, and then how that maybe the way they view art, particularly the abstracts, how that has changed over the last few years?
I think at first people look for faces on artwork, something that they could connect to, something they could relate to, like the big fish, the cat. Those type of things get the People's Choice Award. The quality of the artwork is good, but there's a little bit of a charm to artwork that has a face on it for the people of Decatur, of any community. I um, I'm amazed at a lot of the submissions that we get for the People's Choice Award. They'll expand on their thoughts, and they'll tell us that why they liked a particular piece, and the abstract pieces are well accepted.
That's good. I think that's great, because I know some of the things that can be a challenge is when you're vetting art. There sometimes is this, okay, should we make it more of art that people would like, or art that's going to stretch their imagination, or art that's going to um, say something different, that it's going to, and it might speak differently to people. I mean, how does that process work when you're vetting the art that's going to be publicly viewed?
We have eliminated some pieces as they come in to be juried in because the subject was not appropriate for families. This is a family art show. This is something that's going to make everyone comfortable, something that everyone should enjoy. So we have eliminated some pieces that were too strong or too modern, shall I say. Um, our pieces are very people friendly. Greg Mendez does a terrific job making sure that they're also ADA compliant and structurally perfect for our show. He excuse me, inspects the pieces and makes judgment on the quality of the work, that we have nice, sturdy pieces that are attractive.
That's fantastic. I hope you haven't had any more sculptures dragged through the street.
No, no, that was once in 14 years, so that's not too bad. But did ask for some bad stuff, so that's, to me, that's bad.
Yeah, we had actually a sculpture here in Angola that was kind of snapped in half.
Yeah.
So
But sometimes it's, just
yeah.
innocent. Somebody reaches up and they
Mhm.
try to touch it, or they wonder how strong it is, and they just give it a little tug, and some things happen. But
Yeah.
that stealing an alligator, that didn't happen here in Decatur. That happened when he went on to his next trip.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But um,
It
it's
happens.
interesting.
It
And the
happens.
price is going up every year too. When I first got here, it's changed substantially. Just the cost of food and hotel
Mhm.
rooms and na 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 na. We've increased the stipends, which I'm like 100% for every time, is to help the artists out because they make or break our show. But there's few things that are a challenge.
Yeah, the logistics is amazing. You said you have 30 sculptures this year?
We have
Um,
30 sculptures
just
coming this year, and then we have enough permanent ones that belong to either private individuals, some that you can't see, some that are tucked away, in homes and yards. So we have quite a few sculptures.
So what'll happen when you run out of space to put the new sculptures in?
Well, the goal is to have enough, at least in my opinion, the goal is to get enough permanent sculptures where we can maintain and slowly cut down on the new ones that always have a new one. But as the price goes up, then having a nice base of sculptures on our own is a really good thing.
Yeah. And they are beautiful. That's great.
Yeah. And we do like to pick the People's Choice Award as our purchase piece. So I
Okay.
think the
That's
community
good.
likes that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. If there's anybody that has any questions, please feel free to put those in there. Um, it looks like we've had some comments. The ADA compliance considerations. Someone is commenting that they're really happy about that. Yeah, there actually are ADA compliance issues, right? Where we want
That's
it.
a big
Yeah,
issue. Yes, absolutely.
yeah.
We've had artists have to change a piece of their sculpture once they got here because it was too low. And sometimes we just put them up on a higher pedestal if it has an issue. But you have a blind person walking down the street, you have to be sure that he's not going to get hurt.
Yeah, I think people can sometimes forget about the considerations. I know it's a learning process. It's a learning process because sometimes you don't realize that something could potentially create a hazard. And
And the view
yeah,
for drivers as well. You have sculptures so near the street, you have to be sure that you're not blocking important signs and things that would cause issues.
yeah, absolutely. So it looks like I've got a question here. I'm going to put it up on the screen here. What are the essential pieces for a community to really help this kind of festival slash activity flourish?
I think an involved group of people that are working hard to make it go. Support from the community, support, definitely support from the city. Takes a lot of street closures and preparation and sign hanging, and the city of Decatur is a huge support system for us.
And of course, funding is a big
Oh
thing,
my
right?
gosh,
Oh
funding,
my gosh.
yes. Yeah, we have sponsors that have been our sponsors for 14 years. We get new ones every year. Some drop off every year. Arts United, Dan Ross tomorrow, their group is a huge impact on our financial situation.
Yeah, they've got some great programs. The arts programs grants and the arts organization grants. Those are really, I think, foundational for a lot of events and programs in the arts. Yeah, the IAC is incredible here. So it looks like those are the questions that we have, and I don't have. Oh, Jeanette has another question for us. How do you solicit and keep sponsors?
Um, how do we solicit? Well, most of our solicitation started when the idea of the sculpture tour came into place. Occasionally, once a year, I go out. I'm the sponsored committee person. I go out and I approach different businesses that have not been involved yet or have been involved and dropped off for some reason. And I try to see if I could get them their support.
That takes a lot of time and a lot of work, doesn't
A
it?
lot of footwork. Yep.
Yep.
Your presence is important.
So, actively in each one of those organizations that you are a member of, the Decatur Sculpture Tour, Adams Art Council, and the Decatur Arts Commission, do each one of those have members that help the tour? Because it appears to me that everyone has a stake in the tour of some kind because it's good for the community economically, community development wise, and for its citizens. So, do people of each of those groups are do they help with the sculpture tour?
Absolutely, absolutely. The Decatur Arts Commission, North Adams Art Council is a group of artists that meet once a week, and they lend a hand to the sculpture tour. Um, you need all the volunteers you could get, that's for sure.
And does the community do community members come in and help? Because that's a lot of work. Uh, Logistically speaking, trying to install 30 separate installations and being able to do that in a timely fashion and having people there on time to greet those people, install, make sure they have everything they need, and then how do you do it? I don't know. How do you get your community members actively involved in that?
Well, there are groups that want to be involved. Our hospital just celebrated a 200th anniversary, and in their celebration, they wanted to do 200 volunteer services. So, of course,
Wow.
we tapped into them. You have your school groups that you could tap into. We have the honor societies and such that help us out.
That's great.
Volunteers,
And
the businesses that are involved. The library always sends people over. We have some sponsors that will send folks over to help.
so, do you think part of that involvement is due to the festival that surrounds the opening each year of the tour?
Repeat, I'm sorry.
Do you think that the festival that surrounds the opening of the tour, do you think that has to do with some of the involvement of the community because they're represented there too, where I you have the dance schools and you have all those folks, whether they're having demonstrations or whether they're having vendor tents or anything like that, is that as an integral part of with the sculptures being separate, but the community having a venue for themselves to show what they have to offer, is that part of the reason, do you think, that they are so heavily engaged also with the tour?
Yes, we have the local restaurants that provide the truck foods, and our local dance company with their beautiful young ladies that come out and perform for us. They love to have an opportunity to showcase their talents, so it's a win-win situation for all of them.
Yep. I think you guys are doing an awesome job. Y'all are, and I hope it continues for a very long time.
I do too. I feel the first few years are the hardest, and now we're sailing. Our committee people all know what they need to do, what they have to do. We know who to tap into for whatever assistance we need, and it's a lot of work, but at least we have our ducks in a row.
Yep, you sure do. The logistics are pretty amazing. It's like wrangling cats, and you do it well. That's great.
Thank you.
So thank you for coming, Darlene. It looks like we're just about out of time. So if you could hang out backstage for just a moment as I wrap this up, that would be fantastic.
All
Thank
right.
you again. Appreciate it. Okay, everybody, and here we go. If you thought this content was useful and you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe to the Folio Nova YouTube channel. You can also sign up for updates on the Spark Change website. And if you could, let us know what types of topics you'd like covered in the future. And with that, let's all work together to make the world a better place. Thanks for watching.